Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder, episode 130 of the podcast. And Kieran worded it very well on the way to collecting Calum from his house earlier. It feels like one of the biggest editions of the podcast we've ever done. Just to cut straight to the point here, I can't remember going into a podcast with so many game-changing, groundbreaking conversations to be had. I don't even know where we begin tonight, but nonetheless, we'll find a way as we always do. So on that note, please join me in welcoming my fantastic podcast partners for this evening. I'll start over on the far left, Mr. Kieran Auld. Is it how is the emotions coming into this? Is it one that you've been looking forward to? Is it one that you're a bit... How are you feeling? How are you doing?
I don't know if I would say I was looking forward to it. It's one I feel like we could go on for hours if we wanted to. There's so much to talk about. Don't worry, we won't keep you here that long. But, I mean, after the highs of last night, getting through to the knockout rounds of the Champions League for the first time since 2013, we were 12 years old the last time we played in Champions League knockout stages. So it was a momentous night, which was then kind of dampened by the news of KYOGO leaving to join Ren.
Spoiler, you've told them what we're going to talk about.
If you were unaware.
You might want to sit down.
If the thumbnail and the thing never gave it away.
So yeah,
I know, there's a lot to talk about.
Aye.
We'll get into it.
And beside Kieran, in the middle of the two of us, for the first time in 2025, is it? I think so.
Aye.
It's Calum Craig. Welcome back. How you doing?
Nice to be back, aye. Obviously a couple of weeks off, as obviously I've said to yourself, just wee family bits and that, but good to be back, good to be talking about Celtic, just sad what we need to talk about.
Do you know what I was going to say? Have we ended the podcast year of 2024 and saying that the next time you'll be on the show we'll be talking about KYOGO leaving, Jota potentially coming back? I mean, you probably slapped me.
I would have been back on.
Well, here we are. It's also Calum's birthday podcast, you could say, because it's your birthday on Saturday. Right. So happy birthdays in the chat. A bit of positivity for something. Yeah, we've got a lot to cover and I don't want to keep you here all day. We may as well get straight into things. KYOGO is leaving Celtic Football Club. Let's just call it how it is. There's no beating around the bush. He's gone. He's away. In the time that we drove from the east end of Glasgow to Wishaw tonight, the photos have emerged of him landing in France to complete his medical, to sign for Rennes. It was quoted earlier on this afternoon, that the Rennes manager said he expected the deal to be done by tonight. Christ, by the time we're back in the east end of Glasgow, boys, we'll probably see the images of him standing in a Rennes shirt. It's happened. He's away. First impressions on what's happened, Kieran?
Just absolutely gutted that he is away, because we've spoke about, even this month, in the past couple of weeks, we've spoke about interest in KYOGO and saying it doesn't make sense for us to sell him. There's talking points being raised about the fact that he's 30 now, and you're seeing some elements of the support. I mean, I will say that as a minority that are no celebrating him gone, but maybe happy that we're now cashing in on a player that's it's as much money as we're going to get from him. I'm going to say it pretty plainly. I would rather have kept KYOGO until his contract ran out than get any money from him. I don't care about us getting £10 million from him. What's another £10 million? That might sound ridiculous to people listening in for the outside, thinking, well, it's £10 million. We're in a financial situation where we don't need to sell our best players, so as we speculated earlier, he must have been pushing for this himself for it to happen. It's not like he's been sold and he didn't want to go. It's becoming apparent that he must have been pushing for this move. And
yeah,
I mean, I will just say, he leaves with everybody's best wishes, I imagine. And I would have rather he stayed here and saw out his career at Celtic Park, but it's just the way things have fell. But it's going to be an important couple of weeks. Try to find his replacement.
I ask you the same question, Calum, just before we get into the details of the deal and the ramifications of what comes next. What was when you left Celtic Park and you first seen it, what was just your initial reaction to it all, and what is your initial reaction to it all now, seeing that it is actually happening? Like, where do you stand mentally about the whole thing?
I think sorry, excuse me, I think the first I'd seen it was when you'd put it in also a Celtic chat.
Yep.
Said about KYOGO, and I was like, what? Sure, I opened Twitter and I just couldn't see anything. First I kept seeing this hit at his pass, but obviously we'll come on to that a wee bit later. But again, then as it started to come up, and then as soon as you had to hit translate tweet, I'm like, right, well, there's obviously a bit of solidarity behind it. It's not a word, but you know what I mean? Like, it was solid news. So obviously it is a bit of a pain, but I think Kieran's hit everything in there on the head. It goes to everybody's best wishes. I think that goes without saying.
You devastated?
Oh, massively. As I said to you just after you was picking me up, we were obviously still too young to really appreciate Larsson. So when people say the best since Larsson, this is where we really get that feeling.
Aye.
And it feels like a death.
I use the word groundbreaking, and it does. I know there will be people that might go, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but why is it an exaggeration? Or how is it an exaggeration? Because this is one of the most prolific strikers that we've had at this club in our adult life. This is the closest thing we might get to Henrik Larsson, and he's been an absolute joy to watch, and I think being devastated is a perfectly natural reaction to the whole thing. And I understand that there will be people going, oh, it's maybe the right time to move him on, he's not been good enough this season. But it doesn't take away from what he's done. He's a real revolutionary player for Celtic, and I said to you in the way here, this was the guy that was getting us going along his Parkhead the first few weeks of his signing with Japanese flags and bandanas on our head, and like, we loved him and embraced him, and it's because of everything that he gave this club. To see him go, it was truly heartbreaking, man. And I was pretty candid with my thoughts. I didn't think it would happen, and here we are. It's happened.
What hat did you eat then, Ryan?
So it was my Celtic bonnet, the one I go for going to Zagreb, and it's gone now. Still digesting as we speak.
Tasty.
Had a wee bit of salt on it, so that helped. But so Jorge Sampaoli was out earlier on, the Rennes manager, saying that he expects the deal to be done by tonight. The details have emerged that it's a £10 million plus deal, not much more than £10 million, but probably just over. He'll probably be announced tonight. It's good money. It is good money, but as you said, Kieran, it doesn't do much for us in the sense that it doesn't repair the broken heart of KYOGO leaving. But the club, look at to play devil's advocate, can you see maybe why they've allowed this to happen, especially if KYOGO did want to go? Was this their time to cash in?
I feel like I understand that point of view. I mean, I just find it strange that fans are maybe jump on that. I think for the board's point of view, that's the way they're thinking, right, this is his maximum value we're going to get from him. We need to cash in now in terms of a business sense. But why are you as a fan maybe not excited, but happy about us getting the £10 million for a player? Well, as I said, we're not in a financial situation where it's dire straits. We need to sell our best players to recoup this sort of money. We've just progressed to the knockout rounds of the Champions League. Money isn't an issue this season, and obviously we spoke about it, we'll have wanted away, but it's just I can fully understand the whole argument, not even argument, the rationale behind, right, sell them when you can and replace them with a younger model essentially. And with the £10 million, hopefully we can go out there and sign a quality striker, because I don't think we can really do any makeshift carry on for the rest of the season. Granted, we're a good bit clear in the league, but there's a treble in the line and we want to make a good impression in this knockout round. You need to spend that £10 million accordingly on a striker. Well,
the £10 million is there. The money from qualifying for the next round of the Champions League is there. The money that we've banked on the likes of Matt O'Reilly, Liel Abad, all these other players who we've sold for big money over the last few years is still there. I know we've spent a chunk of it, Calum, but this is the big task now. And it's going to be a hard week for Celtic and Celtic fans who will be impatient, but that's the thing about selling KYOGO. You put yourself in that position where you don't know if you're guaranteed a replacement. You don't know if you're getting... Listen, at the end of the day, I think he still leaves right now. Has he just edged himself to top of the top scorers chart in the league? I think he might.
Give or take.
So you're watching the league's top scorer go, Calum. There's never a guarantee that the next guy is going to fill those boots.
No, not at all. I think as Kieran touched on, but with that 10 million, even another 5 million was it for Bernabeu as well? round that off at 15 million currently just now in transfers. You'd like to see a good bit of that spent again. I know we spent a good bit again on Ida. Obviously, we've been back and forth on him all season, but we can't go with that makeshift, as Kieran said, of Ida, and on the off chance we then play Maeda through the middle, because then you're relying on Yang playing out on the left, unless another certain Sunday does come in, she'll come on to him. But definitely need to see some form of replacement.
I don't know how long to sit and talk about Kyogo, because we could do that for an hour. We could dedicate a full episode towards him, and I'm sure that this story will change and develop throughout the recording of this podcast alone, let alone the time it's uploaded. So we will come back and forth to it probably. The timeline is just flooded of Kyogo compilations and memories, including one that you made your
Cam's on.
Probably sent you through the motions making that, I assume. On that note, I mean, to cheer us up, I say cheer us up, it's probably going to make us more sad, but what is your favourite memories of him? If you were to pick one that springs to mind, what would be the one that comes to you first, Kieran?
I think it would need to be that first League Cup final that he won single-handedly against Hibs. They got up and scored for a corner. We instantly replied with a goal for him, and then his second goal was just world class. Like the dinky of the keeper. I think that's, I mean, if he hadn't already announced himself, that was certainly him announced himself as a big game player, and then he just kicked on for there. But I'm proper devastated that he's leaving, because you said that. I was saying it to my dad, I was like, this is like the best striker I think I've seen at Celtic. Now, obviously, we missed the boat with Larson due to
we couldn't help
it.
I
could have tried to have hired him. But
what about you, Calum? What would be the first? What are you most thankful for in his time here?
I don't know. I mean, as Kieran touched on, I think the instant memory is that League Cup final. It's just it's that second finish. It's unbelievable.
It's got the season, wasn't it?
Aye, I think it's.
I mean, in terms of League Cup finals, you could also say the League Cup final against Rangers, in which he single-handedly won it as well.
As two, aye. There's just there's so many good memories he gave us. I think it probably has to be Hibs that edges it.
The Derby days that he's gave us constant goals in. He's a guy full of memories. I think that one, especially because it was Ange's first trophy, it really set the wheels in motion for. That was the turning point. It felt like, not the exact turning point, but it certainly helped spark the catalyst that was the Ange Ball machine, winning that first trophy and getting some silverware back at Celtic Park after a trophyless season. It was huge, it was so significant, and as I said, I thought it was so revolutionary and just spearheading everything that Ange Ball was about. And then obviously transitioning to Brendan Rodgers maybe didn't go the way that he wanted it to, in terms of the form, maybe dipping a wee bit, but he's always, the one thing I'll say is, and I think you two would attest to this, no matter how poorly he's played in the game, he's never gave less than 100%. He's always been somebody whose attitude is at the peak it can be for a footballer, and that's what I always appreciate about Kyogo, and that's one of the things that's hard to replace, man, the heart of a player. Sometimes you just not get all cringy about it all, but sometimes the heart of a player.
Watching Rocky's really made you it really has.
If I haven't let anybody know, I've been binging the Rocky films recently, so once you get down, you gotta get back up. God, where do we go for here, man? Just
do we move on to the
Jota?
The mulleted elephant in the room.
So amongst all of this, and amongst Kyogo leaving, and we'll say our final farewells to him at the end of the show, but amongst him leaving, the news has surfaced that Jota could potentially be en route with a move back to Celtic. Something that has been spoke about every transfer window since he left the club, quite frankly, because of how things went tits up in Saudi Arabia. Calum, I mean, if there's one way to cheer up a support, it's by bringing Jota back.
Oh, 100%. I mean, even when he left, we've had players come in, obviously, have been good, but I've not really had a player that gets you an edge of your seat like him. He's just so enjoyable to watch. Just watching him drive at defenders. It was the tweet you had mentioned, Kieran. So I was like, we're just going to pretend that he didn't rip apart every other defence in the league. Like, come on, the boy is unbelievable. And touch Harry Wood, it does come through, and we do see him back in a Celtic shirt. I would be ecstatic.
He's one of my favourite players and I'll cut to the chase here. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I was always more of a Jota man than a Kyogo man, but it doesn't mean that I'm happy to see Kyogo go just because Jota's coming back. Absolutely not. But I
don't argue, just enjoy.
Just enjoy it. I was a huge Jota man. Kieran, I mean, it still feels a wee bit unattainable to an extent. But what are you thinking?
I'm so conflicted on it because if you said this maybe a week ago, I mean, people have been saying it for fucking weeks on end, but I always sort of shrugged it off as right, it's not going to happen. We know the reasons for it. But see, because Kyogo's went to Rennes, I'm like, hold on, this has kind of made this maybe a wee bit more achievable than what we first thought. But I really don't want to get my hopes up because I've had my hopes and dreams shattered in the past 24 hours and I'm not ready to be hurt again. But if we were able to get Jota back, I think that would be a great way of making amends for losing Kyogo. Obviously, you still need to sign a striker, but it would be a signal of serious intent, I think, for Celtic to get him back.
Once again, we cannot help the rapid developing of stories. This may be outdated by the time this gets to you on the other side. As it currently stands, the reports suggest that Jota could be in talks with Celtic very, very soon because the agreement between the clubs for the Kyogo transfer also included Celtic being able to talk about Jota. Now, L'Equipe, who are a huge publication in France, the biggest sports publication in France, they reported in their original tweet about Kyogo saying that Stade Rennais will recruit Kyogo Furuhashi from Celtic for €12 million. The agreement between the two clubs is twofold, since it includes a return of Jota to Scotland. Now, this was off the back of the original reports from Le Parisien last night, which was then piggybacked by Sky this morning. All of these reports coming into fruition as obviously Kyogo's now gone. So to see reliable sources such as L'Equipe talk about it, I have no doubt in my mind that Celtic will be talking about about Jota. But will Jota be willing to come back to Celtic is the massive stumbling block, and that's where Celtic fans really need to ground their expectations. Because, Calum, we know that there's this whole tax situation that's maybe going on that could halt the deal. There's also just a situation where Celtic might not be able to get in contact with him and come to an agreement. So are you just kind of keeping yourself on reserve for now?
Oh, 100%. I mean, not to sound like a broken record, I've said that this would be the third time I've saying it now, but until I see him, a photo of him, an updated photo for somebody to fucking post the original photo in the comments.
There, actually, for his announcement.
Before that, until I see an updated photo of him in the scarf above his head, all the usual nonsense, I refuse to fully get my hopes up.
Because we can't sit and pretend that we're all clued up about the whole tax thing, right? We're not exactly 100% on the script and how much money he would lose, but, you know, he doesn't necessarily owe anything to Celtic, Calum. So for him to give up potentially hundreds of thousands of pounds, if not millions, I'm not entirely sure, just to come back to Celtic on the hope that things will pick up where they left off is a huge gamble for his career, considering how much it stagnated the last couple of years.
Sorry, I
think it is a gamble, but let's not beat around the bush here. His career has stagnated big time.
Does that put you off the signing of him?
No, not at all.
Just to,
I think it puts other teams off signing him because he's stagnated so much and it's not been a success in Saudi Arabia, maybe out with his control there, but also in France. So I think other interest that you've sort of seen reported and it's kind of fizzled out with Premier League teams and things like that, and he's no went to the loan, etc. But I feel like a lot of big clubs will be put off by the past 18 months of his career, whereas up here I think everybody's willing to turn the biggest of blind eyes to it because we know how good he is and what he's capable of. I think coming back would be the catalyst to kickstart his career again. And the point I raised earlier to use was, if it is to come back, it's not like he's here until the end of his career type deal. He could come back, take the hit, the new, and however much he's going to lose, and then get another move in a couple of years' time to a team that he can then keep himself financially stable at for the rest of his life. Know that he wouldn't be financially stable with 30 grand a week, but I don't know. It is a stumbling block, but I think if he thinks about it long term, he could definitely get another move if he came back to us.
Calum, put it this way. The reports suggest that Rennes are willing to let him go for £6.7 million. Apparently, that is the fee that they're looking for. 6.7. We sold him for 25. We originally signed him for, I think, 6.5. So it's roughly the same fee. take the whole tax situation aside for a minute and just pretend that it's like yes or no sort of thing. It comes across as an absolute no-brainer for that amount of money.
Oh, just take out the 12 million for the KYOGO money and transfer as the rest. That's the way I look at it. Like, it's an instant no-brainer for me. I don't see if you've got the opportunity to bring him back to the club, why you wouldn't. He's, as Kieran touched on, his career has kind of been a bit stagnant, but as a Vole support, I'm massively happy to turn away for it and bring him back in.
I suppose the big question is, if he does come in, doesn't mean we turn a blind eye to the striker position though, because I think Celtic still need to sign a striker as well.
I know, there's no doubt in my mind, even if we got Jota back in, that's no the KYOGO replacement. I don't think anybody would think that, so the money still has to be spent on it. So if we're willing to make £15 million in this transfer window in January, you need to be willing to spend £15 million.
Is that what you were going to say as well?
That 100%, as Kieran said, if you're willing to offload 15 million worth, you need to be able to bring it in as well. Have to.
I mean, they want a winger anyway. I wonder what they would do though, because it's like Jota wasn't a part of the process up until now. Well, if you listen to the reports, I suppose it was always on Jota, or it was always Louis Barry, or it was always the lad that was playing for Real Valladolid, whose name has just slipped my mind. Raul something, can't remember.
The one with the collarbone.
Yes, the one with the collarbone. Jota's name was never caught up in all that. So does it mean that Celtic would then sign two wingers, or would they leave it at Jota? I wonder what would happen.
Part of me kind of thinks they would leave it at Jota, because it's the sort of opportunity that's been presented last minute.
Yeah.
It's going to cost them more money than the rest of them. I feel like it's a decision being made by heart rather than head, to be fair, but I still think it would work out.
Aye. I don't doubt that it wouldn't. So I pose it in the biggest of hypotheticals, I suppose, because this wasn't a question that would have been on my mind this time even 24 hours ago, let alone now. But if a genie came to you at the start of the window on the 1st of January, Calum, if a genie came to you and he said, right, KYOGO's going to leave, right, but it means that you'll have Kieran Tierney, Jota, and we've not spoke about him at all yet, but say it's Mateusz Kvistgarden, right? If you end this window with Jota, Tierney, and Kvistgarden, but it means KYOGO leaving, would you have accepted that genie's offer at the time?
I'd probably need to say yes. And as much as it pains me to say, you need to kind of look at where we're shy in positions. Your left back definitely needed covered. Our winger would have been perfect, and you're getting another replacement in there for KYOGO. It is just, it's the memories KYOGO's gave us that we're more clinging on to almost, but you need to think long term for the team.
What about you, Kieran?
I mean, I'd dig this fucking magical genie up and why he's so clued up on the football, but
It's just a football genie, isn't it? So it is.
Nah, it's weird, man, because I feel like there was never really any circumstance I wanted to lose KYOGO, but obviously, logically, that makes sense to get Tierney.
I think that's the only thought in my mind.
It's like a saving grace sort of thing. But we could be sat here in a week's time and nothing's happened.
That's the fear though, isn't it? It's the fact that we could it's Sellik at the end of the day. What if we do end this window with KYOGO gone and we don't sign Jota and we don't sign...
It's such a gamble, but because we've said this in the previous couple of episodes as well, like the amount of times we've been told January's a difficult window to do business in. Like, no, for fucking everybody else apparently. Selling KYOGO. Nah, if we were able to if we finished the window with Fitzgarden, Jota and Tierney, I don't think you could really have too many complaints. It's obviously an absolute gutter to lose KYOGO, but if you can actually go out and replace him with somebody that's been a long-term target and quite highly rated, I think that would subdue people's fears about the rest of the season and still have people really optimistic going forward.
Well, I need to hope it happens. And as we said, I don't know what's going to change in the space between now and this podcast going up, but it has now turned into a massive 10 days for Celtic to finish this window strongly. We're going to all be watching with a very keen eye. We will be here on the podcast next week, right before deadline day, so how things will change, I don't know. You know that on the channel we'll have constant transfer updates. Kieran Tierney, we don't have the full clarification as to whether or not he'll be here by the end of the window or not yet. That's kind of gone back and forth still between the possibility of him signing permanently, signing on loan this month or not signing on loan. Any concerns about that at all?
I think it all then just comes down to if that is Barry away, Then we're just left with solely Greg Taylor with Liam Scales to be the backup to it. Not the ideal scenario, but if we need to wait, really.
I mean, Big Fab seems to be confident that Tierney will be here, and that's why Valley's apparently away. But Celtic, I don't think Celtic can let Valley go without giving the nod. I read that somewhere, but I didn't. I don't know. I'm really.
I think we must get some form of a because we are technically a parent club, also it's a loan club, but that's what it currently is registered with us. I think we must get some form input.
It's weird. I hope Tierney's here by the end of the month.
I would love it if Tierney was to come in January.
Help lift the spirits.
But aye.
So I can ask for.
I would much rather have him here for the next 6 months than be nervously watching him getting broken for 15 minutes every Arsenal game.
Aye. I'd rather he got injured here than there.
Wincing every time somebody flies in. I'm like,
oh, Jesus. Wow. We'll keep you updated, but I'll keep a keen eye on my phone to make sure nothing's happening. On that note, we should probably head to the halftime quiz. I don't know how long we spent on that opening portion of the show.
It's usually good ass.
It's honestly no as much as you think. I think it's like 20 odd minutes.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad. We do want to keep things moving to get this up tonight anyway. So halftime quiz, prepared by our quizmaster Kieran, who's back on the quiz. Not you, Kieran. Other Kieran, quizmaster Kieran, who's back on the quiz duties today. Take it away.
Sorry, Kieran, if it is that, Kieran, I got a text that night and I don't know who it's from since I get my new phone, and I thought it was him, but I get dead panicky when I get a text for an unknown number. So if it was you, double text me again, Swannell.
What a place to do
Sorry,
it.
it just reminded me because I get dead patsy when it's just a number.
Oh, no, see, I delete them instantly. I'm like, nope. I got an ominous WhatsApp no logo. Hello. I was like, who's this?
No context.
Anyway, Kieran.
I don't know if you'll have time if you want to put it up tonight, but I think the people would appreciate it if you put in the theme song for this.
Oh, right. Well, theme song, go. Right, if I've no edited it.
So is that tick if you never put it in? The theme is players who were involved in our last successful UEFA Champions League campaign for Celtic in 2012-13. So, how you about to decide it? Who wants to go player A and player B?
Well, Calum, it's your first show of 2025, so I'll let you go.
I can just play A straight the
We're going straight away.
Might as well get the pain out of the way.
This player joined Celtic from Hibs and then left to go to Blackburn Rovers.
Hibs to Blackburn. Well, Hibs to Sellik to Blackburn.
Hibs to Celtic to Blackburn. That was what year? Sorry.
It's from the 2012-13 season. These players
just
played
that
for
overall
Celtic.
season.
So like it's no saying they left in this season. Or
Aye,
but
right.
Oh, I've got it. I know who it is.
It's going on.
I know who it is. It's dawned on me now.
Actually, I'll just say the real stuff. Dylan McGeoch.
Charlie Mulgrew.
Charlie Mulgrew coming for Hibs.
Oh, shite, no, I
I
didn't.
know, I was thinking you said that.
Anthony Stokes.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know Stokes went to Blackburn.
See, that threw me off.
Well, see, I heard went to Blackburn. I remember Mulgrew going to Blackburn. But
they must have went at the same time.
aye, because he came to Aberdeen, Mulgrew, didn't he?
He went 2016-17. Stokes went to Blackburn. That was the exact same time.
Just as well I wasn't player A because I had blew my load.
He must have shared a taxi down the road.
Some taxi fare.
Ryan to win the half-time.
Okay.
This player joined Celtic from Beershot and left for Southampton.
Wanyama. That was
You got the easier of the two there.
Aye, that was
Should I jumped in?
Aye. Well,
Didn't mind either.
I hope you enjoyed your Who's That Tick halftime segment.
Quickest we've ever done it.
I know.
It is very quick. On that note, it's a nice segue into the next topic of conversation, which goes back to 2012-13, which was the last time Celtic qualified for the knockout stages of the UEFA Champions League. It might not be quite the last 16 this time round. It's the last 24. Is it 24 teams? I think it is.
Aye.
So into the last. It can't be. Is it 24?
Well, I mean,
But it's just knockout stages.
I mean, there's 16 teams playing each other to become the 8 that goes into the
We're into the knockouts, boys. We're into the knockouts. I never thought we'd see the day where the Sellik the Thunder were talking about Celtic entering the fucking knockout stages of the Champions League. Kieran, what a night last night in Celtic Park.
It was just, we said at the time that the most Celtic way to do something like that, honestly, 3 disallowed goals a missed penalty. It was starting to look like one of the nights, but a moment of, don't even know if I can say magic, a moment of extreme luck that we never normally get in Europe came our way, and thankfully it did. And Celtic now, for the first time since 2013, will be playing in the knockout stages of the Champions League. And as you said, that's just weird to think about. Think about how light. I said earlier we were 12 the last time that happened. We're now 24. Ryan's pushing 25.
Right. Actually, Calum's only 23 as we currently record.
Oh wow.
Aye, so we're all different age. Well, I'm still 24. I'm 25 yet, right? Yeah. I see when I hear 25, I always go like, oh, quarter of the way there. Why am I assuming I'm going to get to 100? Like, quarter of the way there. I know exactly, halfway there. God almighty. Aye, what a night.
But just buzzing about it. I mean, watching the highlights back when I got in last night as well, I was like, Jesus Christ, how was that no mad? Even excluding the chopped off goals and the missed penalty, but some of the other chances we had as well, we were absolutely peppering their goal. So the result would have been very unfair, I think, if we didn't win. I thought we could have felt really hard done by ourselves by no having the finishing touch to actually go out and win it, but sometimes you need that stroke of luck, like what happened in the 86 minutes. So
it's about time it was Sellik on that end of the stick. Calum, in terms of the performance itself, it's another one that really suggests to me that Brendan Rodgers is finding his system in Europe. I mean, we are 6 games unbeaten, 6 in a row now. It's at Celtic Park was but I mean in just general in the competition we've not lost in 6 games in Europe. Like the last time we lost was Dortmund in match day 2, wasn't it? So that's
5 games.
5 games in
5 games. 5 games.
But 6 games at home now.
Yeah, 6 games at home. 5 games altogether, Calum. I mean, when was the last time you were able to say something about this with Celtic? Like, Rodgers sent the team out there last night, and in particular in the opening 45, played some really good football, Calum, and it's encouraging, to say the least.
Oh, 100%. I think it was actually nice to see. Obviously, it's just, as Kieran said, it's just the most Celtic way for us to go through by getting the deflection off the defender, but it's not as if we didn't deserve to then take a result.
Aye.
I mean, KYOGO's massively unlucky to then get a hat-trick chopped off, albeit it's just, that's a strike, it is just playing on the shoulder and getting in behind players, but I take nothing away for that. I thought we played absolutely unbelievable. The football we actually played was good, instead of many times we've seen us in Europe just try and take it in wee spells here and there and we get possession. But no, I'm just glad we're through the knockouts.
Just to add as well, like we can obviously the praise for the attacking side of things, but I thought defensively as well last night. A couple of big games for certain players, and especially Kasper Schmeichel.
He earned a new contract last night alone, didn't he?
That double save, reminiscent of Joe Hart versus what was it, Jablonek? Or he's on their feet, but that was a massive moment in the game, and I think when I was starting to think, this might not happen, I think that maybe gave me a bit more belief that, we've got this. But in terms of like Carter Vickers and Trusty as well, I thought they were having pretty good games as well. So, I mean, all round good performance. I've seen a couple of people try to pick out on like Engels, but I feel like he's the easy whipping boy because he missed the penalty, which granted was probably one of the worst penalties I've ever seen attempted. But
he had a great game though.
Like some of the balls he was putting through, it was very unlucky that people weren't able to finish the chances off. And Rio Hatate as well. I've seen a lot of people apologising for their outlandish comments that have been coming out in the past few weeks. What a ball that is.
He's not the only one that's been like. Who were you most impressed by last night, Cal?
I don't know if it's maybe just because of that pass that didn't come to mind, but I thought Hatate, even McGregor, I thought I was actually quite pleased with.
Yeah.
And again, that's what he keeps calling Twitter now, like our chubby goalkeeper. He can get a wee pop belly, but it's just, again, you've got that confidence with somebody and go, like that save in the last minute is brilliant for him to, it comes a wee bit soft on him, but to get it down and then just getting shelled back on top of it. How many times have we seen Celtic go and concede from that position in Europe? Almost felt a wee bit like if it was to win like Copenhagen, you get that dominant within the game, but then if it was to win one each, but I think overall, probably Hatate.
I thought the whole midfield was fantastic last night. I generally thought it was the best part of the team. The heartbeat of McGregor, I thought he had one of his best games in a long time. One of those ones that silenced a lot of critics for me. I was just chuffed with the way McGregor played. Absolutely chuffed.
Just let the ball was go to his feet, especially in that first half. He was dancing through the midfield.
Mate, it was nuts.
He set the tone, I think, for the rest of the team, and obviously that's what you want your captain to do. But it's, especially when he's been coming under fire recently for maybe no setting that tempo for the team. So I think it was important for him to go out there and sort of set the standards for the rest of the team. And thankfully everybody followed up. And see, even just talk about that pass for Hatate as well. See, he's worked great defensively as well at the end. He's like been busting it at the full game, and he still goes flying in to put that ball out for a throw in. That had everybody in Sellik Park on their feet as well. But
it's only moments though. It's only moments for me that build up and give me confidence about the next rounds. Because look, listen, at the end of the day, if we were to go through to our next round and play a fucking Real Madrid, right, I'm going to hold my hands up there and say, right, we're probably going to get tanked. But in saying that, the Schmeichel saves, the bit of luck we does goal at the end, the tackles from Hatate, the stuff that Trusty was doing, the way that McGregor played, it gives me, all of that combined gives me a feeling that maybe we can get things to go our way in the big moments. Schmeichel making the saves, in other years I feel like the saves don't happen and they go to get the ball finds its way into the back of the net. I'm not trying to make this a religious thing and saying that somebody's on our side, the big man's doing something, but I just feel like it's a Celtic team that's just getting better and better every time we play in Europe, to the point where they understand how to navigate the big moments, and that's huge.
I'm really hoping that we don't draw like one of your classic elite clubs in the playoff round. That would be quite a bittersweet moment, because it's glad to get there, but you want to get somebody. There's not going to be an easy fixture. I'm not going to come out and say it, but there's obviously going to be teams that you would rather play, and you've got in your head, you fancy it more. I appreciate the enthusiasm, Ryan, but if we draw Real Madrid, we could have been the luckiest fucking people in the world last night. I don't think it's going to matter too much playing a team of that calibre, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And see, just moving forward as well, is it actually not in our best interest, probably by the way things are going to work out, to actually finish lower in the playoff spots? Because if you end up winning, you could end up playing
the projection has us to face Brest or
Monaco.
Feyenoord, something like that. I mean, that's. I mean, we've been there and done the dance with Feyenoord, and maybe it's time to look forward rather than back. The game's done; it's out of the way. These are teams that obviously are very tough, and I don't go into them going Celtic should win, because I'm not that daft, right? But there are two games, Calum, which, you know, if it was to be them, I'd quite like it.
100%. I think you do kind of, more so from the performances this season, you do feel a bit more confident playing teams like, if you were going to face Feyenoord again. But again, it is just kind of, it would be the most Celtic thing from the draw we've had this season to do well with the results, potentially get a favourable tie, and then go get it. To put it plain and simple.
I think it's going to be weird as well, going back to like a return leg sort of feel to the games, because a lot of these ones have felt really one-off. You don't need to see them again, but if we're going to go in unseeded, we play at Sellik Park first.
I hate that. I hate that. I hate being at Parkhead first.
Aye.
But it's nice. How good does it feel though to say that last night wasn't our last Champions League game at Parkhead, knowing that we're actually going into
Champions League football game after Valentine's
Day? That's going to have to be the new fucking phrasing, isn't it? But it's just amazing. It does so much for the look. In recent weeks, I think we can all be brutally honest in saying that the atmosphere's maybe dipped a wee bit, and I don't just mean the stadium, I mean just generally around. And listen, I think it's ridiculous that it has, considering the season that we're having, but there is people who have went, oh, it's shite, we're shite, everything's shite, I hate this shite, it's shite.
There's still some people like
there
that.
Still is. Some people miserable last night said, well, they're that good. Fuck you. But, you know, I can't even remember but I've angered myself in my point.
Miserable bastards.
But I think I said that's it, fully done.
Was it done?
Fabrizio said rent complete deal in excess of 10 million.
Wow.
Jota joins Celtic for 10 million plus 10% sell-on clause.
Whoa.
That's quite a big development.
Whoa, that's a huge. Well, fuck young. We can move on to that game. That was genuinely accidental.
It was Dylan.
Holy shit.
Dylan had just updated with it.
Everybody ignore the first fucking part of this podcast. It doesn't really matter anymore. I'm going to have to. Whoa. So massive update. live as we record this podcast from Fabrizio Romano himself. Rennes have completed their deal in excess of €10 million for KYOGO Furuhashi from Celtic. Jota is going to join back for €10 million plus a 10% sell-on clause back to the
Glad I checked my phone there.
I'm fucking glad you checked your phone. Holy shit, boys. Whoa.
I feel like we're in a newsroom and
There's that alert going out for the weather, eh? Wow. Right,
See what I said about the scarf? Fuck that. Wrong your man said it.
He's coming home. I say home. He's coming back. Well, what we think?
Who is it that put that? There's a careless whisper on the Kerry
know.
deal thing. That's brilliant.
people are taking the piss at that.
Wow. Wow.
Fuck. Halfway there. Just get KT announced and that's us sorted. Well, not sorted, but
I genuinely don't know how to react though. I can't believe Jota.
okay, happy with that.
Very happy with that. Incredibly happy with that. €10 million, I'd pay every penny.
In reality, it's a swap.
It's a swap deal.
I was going to say
it's a swap deal.
The only thing is the 10%. That's
Listen,
literally the only difference.
Like, I don't mean to be the guy that's full of hypotheticals. Or what if you were offered this? So, you know, I keep as if I'm some sort of fucking Minecraft villager, right? But what if you were offered fucking, if you got told at the start of the window, right, any deal on the table for KYOGO, I would have rather Jota back than £30 million. I mean that. I'm being serious. I think I'd have rathered the security of knowing it's Jota that's coming back over the £30 million. Maybe that's just reactionary of me. Maybe if I sat down and thought, if I could, no, I'd rather 30 million. But I don't see £30 million in.
Nah.
But I see Jota playing for Celtic and I fucking love that. So
Aye, no, big fan of it.
That's something tangible.
I'm just glad that was part of Fabrizio's tweet there, that we know that's concrete now. And it wasn't just Jota talk still ongoing.
wow. So
Very happy with that.
I think you can tell by the looks on all of our faces that we are very, very happy. Kieran, you've been the quietest since the news has broke. What are you thinking?
I'm just seeing some people's reactions to it. There's some good memes getting quote tweeted on.
I've been searching my Twitter, my photo for my phone for photos to react to it, but
no, that's mental. That is. It's good to actually have that sort of confirmation that we're not sat here talking in hypotheticals. It's something that's concrete, and hopefully it just gets done quickly. If KYOGO's able to get on that flight to the end of the day, people were saying all day, I hope it's coming back to Glasgow the next way.
Lobby won't be wasting any money. You've been making sure he's paid for a private charter. Somebody's coming back.
I'm not trying to keep it in the fucking hangar overnight. But no, I'm ecstatic with that. So, but no, it's just,
is this the kind of signing? And I've seen somebody saying this and using this phrasing, this terminology, so credit to whoever it was. Is Jota the kind of get to the Celtic way type signing?
Aye.
Do you think there's going to be folk ready for him? Unless it's tomorrow morning. When it storms. But is this a flood the Celtic way type signing?
Aye. I mean, I was thinking that was going to be Kieran Tierney this month. Maybe the people wanting Jota instead. I'm not going down for Kieran, but nah, I think maybe a couple of floodings down to the Celtic way, but I think that's certainly a sort of signing that you can expect large numbers going down to the front door of Celtic Park to welcome.
There is rumours floating around that he is going to be flying to Glasgow tonight. Which
Celtic Thunder Sleepstream.
we'll see you there. Wow.
That went there? There's a boy that
signing back for £8.4 million. £8.4 million, so €10 million. £8.4 million after we sold him for $25 million less than 2 years ago. That stonks. Let's go in business.
I was expecting some good word there. Like,
Stonks. That is stonks. Yep. There is a flight scheduled tonight that is apparently coming to Glasgow.
Probably will just be the same.
8:30 takeoff. Wow.
Well, I suppose you need to get him in before the storm warning.
Yep.
Get that
Holy shit. Wow.
I can't. Boys tweet earlier, but at Celtic announcement video, Tierney walks into the Brazen Head, says Sam and Jota, then Rodgers pops out from behind the bar and says, "It's Jota."
The return of Jota. We're going to hear Brendan Rodgers finally using the word Jota on a consistent basis. You know, we Jota. Wow. I can't believe this alive.
I knew there was going to be developments while we were recording, but
I didn't think that much.
Wow. I
feel like there should be a banner going across the Bolton, like Sky Sports News.
Sevilla banner.
I don't even know how we
How am I meant to quiz after this?
My mind is racing. Well, we better move and get this up the road. We better. So, Jota's coming home. Crazy. Can't believe it. The chant. I can't wait to sing the chant again.
And I was enjoying it being back.
Do you know what? It takes me back to. Do you know what? And it's a shame KYOGO won't be here to play alongside him again. But it takes me back to like Leipzig and our trips there and Poland and all that. And oh man,
No.
what a time.
Reminiscing on 2.5 years ago.
Just to end off before we do move on to the Twitter questions, because
Which I feel like a lot of them might be outdated now.
well, we can skip the ones we need to. You know, we can skip the ones we need to. But on that note, Jota signing, to talk about it actually happening now, Jota's role under Brendan Rodgers, how does it change? Does it change? And does Brendan Rodgers make him a better player than what he was under Ange?
I suppose it's a sort of time will tell scenario. I think Jota, importantly, I think will maybe take a couple of games to try and get back to. I mean, he's obviously lacking a bit of match sharpness. His time in France hasn't exactly been laden with goals and things, or even minutes for that matter. So it's just about getting consistent game time again. Then I think his quality will shine through. And I mean, Brendan Rodgers especially loves a winger. I think he will bring him on leaps and bounds as well. And I think we could see not only the player that we've seen here the first time, but an improved version after Rodgers has had his hands on him for, say, 6 months.
What do you think, Calum?
100%, literally echo everything Kieran's just said. Only other thing I think as well, it also now gives Nicholas Kuhn the chance to actually get a bit of a rest, because we noticed it when we were trying to play like Yang out at the end, it just wasn't working.
Aye.
It's nice now that, again, all due respect to Yang, whatever he does for himself now, but it's nice to think that Kuhn's been unbelievable this season. He's there, and our fullback's now somebody of Jota's level.
Aye.
And again, fucking not as if City Yang come down to fives if he went down run round rings always. But it's just nice to know you've got that option. But to have a player of his calibre come back to the club is massive.
Well, I cannot believe that it is happening. Kieran, get the Twitter questions up for us.
I've already got them up. I've been scanning to see if any need to be.
I'll let Kieran take it away while I go and keep up to date. We're not having one of those ignorant episodes where we just don't talk to each other.
There's just a lot going on.
A lot going on. So Kieran, take it away and I'm listening.
Cal, he's here again. He's saying people saying the Japanese squad is a big factor in KYOGO leaving. Maeda gets decent game time, but do you think him and Hatate will be having similar ideas? So do you think it was a factor, but do you think it was one of the main factors in KYOGO leaving? And do you think the others could follow suit?
I'm not going to say that I think the others will follow suit. I do think that Hatate has probably been thinking about a move for a while, and that's not me putting things out there, that I just think that it's coming about that time where you'd expect it maybe to happen. Dyson I don't see going anywhere anytime soon unless there's legitimate... He's still been getting picked for Japan, basically, constantly, so he's not going to be any rush out the door. I do think that the Japanese national team did play a big part in it, though. I do. I think that KYOGO's got to the age now where he realises, I've got one more World Cup, and I need to get there now. And it probably did play a factor, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely hurt him getting left out for the Qatar World Cup. Yeah. And you even seen that wee sort of documentary that got done, and you seen how gutted he was then. Maybe that was a warning sign for us that this might have been the case. But nah, I think it definitely did play a part. But I don't see Maeda going anywhere. But I did also say that about KYOGO. So. We've got Svolst here. He's saying, I mean, this is a bit outdated, but I'll give you it the new anyway. If you had to pick one, would you rather have Jota back right now or keep KYOGO and find his previous form from 21-22?
That's a question, by the way. That's a question.
So I also want to know if any of you have a random team anywhere in the world, not England, that you have a soft spot for. Thank you. So... would you rather Jota back now or keep KYOGO and he recaptures his form from, like, he said 21-22, but just say his peak form?
Do you want to go first, Cal?
I don't know, again, it's because I've obviously said it, a bit outdated. I don't know if it's me just saying it, but I don't know, I think it's Jota. As much as I love KYOGO and seeing that people who was scoring constantly, it was brilliant and an absolute joy to watch. But as I keep going on about with Jota, he's just that player that gets you off your seat, he gets you excited. He's aye, Jota.
I'm conflicted.
I'm so conflicted, but just because he's coming back, and we'll say Jota. Gotta make him feel welcome, Kieran.
I'm not playing with you.
How the tunes have changed.
And then the last bit of his question was any soft spot for a random team.
Now, this is
Ryan could rhyme off about 100.
Give me peace, right? I mean, the obvious one is obviously to go say Dortmund, but I'll tell you who I've got a soft spot for now, and it's came through a combination of FM and the affinity I have built for the city itself. Philadelphia Union, because I really enjoyed managing them in Football Manager. I led them to their first ever MLS Cup, and obviously as a man who's now an Eagles fan. And
I'm just thinking, you went to Philadelphia what month last year?
April,
and since then you've not had a day where you've not worn a Philadelphia Eagles piece of merchandise. You've managed their team in FM. You've watched every Rocky film.
Yes.
Where's the next WrestleMania? If you went to Vegas, you'd come back fucking a Raiders fan. Loved the Hangover films.
Vegas wouldn't do it for me. I'm not a gambler, Kieran. I'm not a gambler. So
but I'm trying to think soft spot.
Did it say outside England?
Disregard
England. I had England's Torquay, that's because of family.
But Barca was always mine.
See, that's like, I'll let you say that, but because that's, I think, outside of the top flight, that's a niche one.
I think we can get any lower.
I mean, outside the top flight in England, Stoke, I used to pure love. I used to love a Stoke career.
Just a big fan of George Stokey on Twitter, aren't you?
I take that answer back.
The only reason I say Philadelphia Union is because I genuinely can't think of many teams around the world where I'm like, got a wee soft spot. Genuinely, I can't think of any. Because all my soft spot clubs, is Dortmund the obvious one, and then Man United. And Everton, I've got a wee soft spot.
I don't know if it's a soft spot, but I did really start to pay more attention. It was SSV Ulm in Germany. I'd done the best career mode I've ever done in my life last year on FIFA. Took them to the very top for the third division, and they're in the second tier of Germany now.
Nice. Right, next question.
Right, try and power through these.
Palermo, that's just there.
Check the boys in thinking.
Aye.
Do you think Engels will stay as the penalty taker, and are any is going down to Birmingham for the party next week? Ask Aiden.
No.
To both?
To the question about next week, I don't think he'll get taken off penalties.
Nah.
Everybody misses a penalty.
You can't drop somebody based on missing one penalty. Again, he misses the one at Ross County, but then gets retaken and scores it. Can drop somebody.
If I'm being honest, I don't fancy any of the other dicks taking penalty anyway. They've proven themselves as rotten at penalties.
Are we going to just ignore the 2 years of missing penalties?
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and it would have been nice to go to Birmingham next week, but I wasn't going to do without a ticket.
Neither.
Decky is saying he's absolutely gutted the wee man is away, folks, but what was your favourite KYOGO goal? We've already kind of covered that. He's saying it was the lob in the cup final as well. He's agreed with us there.
Great test.
Saying how important it was, and hopefully McGinley is finally right in getting Big Matthias in. We can only hope.
I hope he doesn't start claiming that he knew it was happening. See if he goes, I said this was going to happen.
2 years.
Jesus Christ.
Liam's back and he's saying, hello lads, how are we? Kieran, cracking question reading last episode. Thank you. Not surprising from the go. People are going to start to think this is just my burner account. Bigging myself up. Mine David Turnbull scored a hat-trick against St Mirren. Some laugh, Cheers. I certainly do remember it, Liam.
Thanks, Liam.
Mark McQueen said, couldn't make the game last night, though through the telly the atmosphere seemed amazing, like a throwback Celtic Champions League night. How good was it inside the stadium? We've actually not touched on that.
We didn't.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I don't know if it's the best I've seen even this season, because it was bouncing against Bratislava. It was quite a nervous sort of tone to it last night, but I feel like a lot more people were joining in with the singing, and the atmosphere.
There's always going to be a sort of nervy edge to things in a game of that magnitude, so I don't think it's as easy, but great crowd last night.
What a buzz at the end, but like the celebrations top notch.
Aye.
Let me see. Libo with a good question here. Who would you want to see / think deserve to get a statue outside Celtic Park? And Ryan, you can't say Rodgers.
How can I not say Rodgers?
Because Libo has demanded you don't say him.
So the question is the current.
No,
just right.
I think the obvious one would be the Bunnet.
Well, I think he deserves one. The Bunnet saved the club. Outside the Bunnet, Henrik. I mean, it's probably got to be Henrik, innit?
Aye.
Or Jimmy McGrory.
Could have been you, Kyogo.
Or Jimmy McGrory. Here's a question for you in a spin-off from that, right? Do you think anybody in our lifetime, like, and I mean our conscious lifetime, will end up with a statue at Celtic Park? Because, like, guys, like, we're seeing the most successful players ever, like McGregor and Forrest and Brown, but I don't ever see them having statues, and maybe I don't know what it is, but I don't know.
I know. Maybe years down the line.
Aye.
Honestly, I can't picture it either.
I feel like Wyden needs to go in and be like a manager.
Aye.
And then
that was cemented.
Aye.
That's
Scott Brown then.
Aye. Sean saying, what actor would you cast to play the Broge in a movie? Steve Carell.
Steve Carell is a good answer. What's his name? I think there's a look about him.
Ricky Gervais. Has to be David Brown, doesn't it? Has to be.
I think, honestly, if you can make him look a bit younger, because he is getting on a bit, but see if you find him, if you look at him, especially when he was like 50s, early 60s, Kevin Costner has a look of Brendan Rodgers about him. If he could master the accent, I think Kevin Costner.
I mean, AI can do wonderful things.
Well, it can.
Younger,
I think Kevin Costner. Honestly,
Would have done that with the Irishman, didn't they?
Because see, when I was watching Draft Day, the film about the NFL, when I was watching that, the whole time I was sitting there going, he'd be cracking Brendan Rodgers. That's all I thought the whole film.
Still need to get that a watch.
It's a great film.
Might get that a watch for a night.
Matthew Blaney's just saying, anybody you would like to avoid in the knockout. So what's your one team? I mean, I said I would definitely no want Real Madrid earlier on, but any who's got a team like that, you really don't want to see Celtic play.
Madrid or PSG or that, I can't be arsed about.
Anybody
Especially
that's
their
good.
team last night.
Anybody that's, could give us a hype and I would like to avoid.
Aye.
Ryan, this one's more tailored to you. Who have you got to win the Royal Rumble?
I don't know who I've got. I want it to be CM Punk or John Cena. I have a feeling it won't be any of the two of them, but if I was to pick right now, I'll go with Punk. I'll lean to Punk.
That was from Boy in Oz. Thank you for the question.
I mean, Calum can answer it as well. He's a wrestling fan.
I know, but it's just me being a big Cena fanboy. I know he won't, but I'd love him to just.
He might.
Say, no, I hope it's the way it is. It's just failure through it and build yourself.
Aye.
Has to be.
And then just finally, we've got Kieran Wilson saying, who would your ideal replacement be for Kyogo? Are we going to just double down on Fitzgarden?
I think.
I feel like there's no really other names
There's
out there.
no other names out there, but it's not as if this is like because he's there, he's a good option. No, his stats are pretty fucking good. Like, I don't know if there's many strikers better than him in Celtic's price range. So, I think it's got to be him.
The obvious choice.
Yeah, the obvious choice.
Right, that's us done for the questions this week.
Right.
Try and rush through to...
Let's get this full-time quiz busted out so we can get a rapid Thunder Club done and get this podcast up tonight. Right, it is a question themed around the UEFA Champions League campaign. The last UEFA Champions League campaign where Celtic confirmed qualification for the knockout stages. And that's this one that about 24 hours ago, Kieran said. So, this Champions League campaign. It's a question about this one, right?
I think I've done better on 12-13, man.
Well, you're going to have to go for it. So do I, by the way. Right, Calum, once again, I'll give you the choice if you'd like to go player A or player B.
Fuck, I'll just take A again.
Gone for A. Okie doke. Right. Question 1. Excluding the own goal, how many different players have scored a goal for Celtic in the Champions League this season? It's one of the ones that takes a wee bit of thinking.
I know, but if we want this up tonight, if I don't get much time.
I could just throw a number and hope for the best.
7.
Correct. What an answer. Well
Take
done.
that.
So Maida, Kuhn, Kyogo, Scales, Rio and Adam Ida.
I completely forgot about Scales.
Right,
That's
there
that.
you go. Right, how many, question 1 for you, Kieran, how many goals have Celtic scored in the Champions League this season?
14.
11. Maybe you miscounted?
No,
He's counting offside
I was trying to count them, and then fucking I was like, what number did I see? I was trying to keep it going quickly.
Right, well, 1-0 Calum.
difference,
Going into question 2. Calum, which of Celtic's 8 opponents are currently highest in the league phase of the table?
Trying to remember who I've played.
It's a long fucking list.
Atalanta.
Correct. I was about to say
Because I knew it wasn't Dortmund, because I knew they've
Atalanta
shite
are
since we split it.
seventh. So they're in the automatic qualification as it stands. Once again, not to sound like a broken record, puts into perspective how good a result that was.
Massively.
Kieran, which of Celtic's opponents are rock bottom after match day 7? Is it Young Boys or Slovan Bratislava?
Ooh. Is it Bratislava now?
It's Young Boys.
Is it?
You've took the bait.
I was trying to think, who did they even play last night?
Don't know.
Or this week?
But you've took the bait. They're still on 0 points. But Young Boys
I know,
are.
but it's because of the goal difference. I was thinking they
Well,
were tanking.
2-0.
I'm trying to think who
Who did they play?
Calum, this could give you a 3-0 lead. What position are Celtic currently in that table?
I'm stuck between two numbers. 18th.
Correct. 3-0,
17th,
Calum. It's turned into the Bratislava game now. Kieran, how many goals have Celtic conceded in the 6 games out with Dortmund? So take Dortmund out of it. How many goals have we conceded in this?
Try to work my way back through them.
He really likes his number-based questions.
I know.
Kieran, doesn't he?
Man, we're on a fucking schedule here, Kieran.
Wow.
He's gone blank at some of these fucking games. 3.
Correct.
Aye.
Still in it. But Calum, if you get this right, you have won on question 4. Can you make it 4 out of 4? How many times have Celtic wore the hoops in the Champions League this season?
Seven.
Correct. Every single
Just
game.
trying to remember them. No off chance it
I
was.
feel like we've not seen any of our other kits.
No, but
I remember saying that a couple of months ago. I'm like, we wouldn't need to wear up anything but the hoops in Champions League.
Yeah, aye.
Even in the league, but I feel like we've not seen us wear the other 2 tops at all.
I see.
If we
We
wore
wore
that
the away
camel
one at the start, but we've not worn the camel yet. No.
Camel one, no. The only time we've wore the yellow is at Hibs.
Hibs. Aye. No, we wore it at St Mirren as well. I'm sure.
Oh, did we? Oh,
Got
actually we
it.
did, didn't we?
Aye.
Because of the hooped socks, I think, innit? The white.
Something like that.
Aye, something like
Stupid rule.
that. Right, Kieran, to play for Pride, how many current champions of their own nation have played Celtic in the Champions League this season?
How many?
Champions of their own nation have played Celtic.
Um, 3.
4.
4.
But I can't, so who is it then? Young Boys, Bratislava,
Zagreb.
Bruges.
Bruges. Aye.
There you go. There's a 4. Who were you
Bruges,
missing?
is it?
For years.
Fuck it.
Oh,
Mate, see, to be fair, I completely forgot about Bruges.
Right,
Don't know
Calum,
why.
to make it a perfect 5 out of 5, you've won anyway. Which player won the man of the match for the game against Dinamo Zagreb?
You shouldn't have gave it a man of the match for that.
Certainly wasn't an attacker if you want a clue.
Carter-Vickers.
Correct. 5 out of 5. Well done. Can we start to 2025 for
That's
you,
the first and
McMahon?
last.
And Kieran, to finish off, who won man of the match for the game against Club Bruges?
Fuck knows. Actually, don't know. That game's escaped my head. Who is it?
Dyson Maida. There you go. Right.
I forgot we played Bruges again.
Same.
Do you know, I don't know why.
Forgettable game, innit? Right, fuck yous. We're getting out of here. Well, we're not getting out of here. We're going to do the Thunder Club. Huge podcast. We need to get a jiggy on. Thank you for your support as always. We'll be back next week for Deadline Day. If you want more conversation, join the members below. But until then, see you next time.